try to walk you through how to complete a focus area because I know a lot of parents are asking questions. Okay, so when they log into their Summit Learning, what they're going to need is going to be found in here. Okay, so what you're looking at is their year view. Okay, this is their year view. So this student has 4 classes, and you can see those 4 classes here. And then you can see this blue line, and it shows where the student should be and what they should be working on. So if we're talking about science, this student has completed their first power focus area. And when we hover over it, it shows us a score, how many times they took it, and it also shows when they passed it, okay? But if this line passes that focus area and they have not gotten 8 out of 10 or higher, it will turn this focus area red. Okay, so we need to talk about how to make sure we don't let them turn red, or how to fix them if they are turned red. So when they open this up, they can click on this first power focus area. Okay. All right, and then you're going to see a few things. You're going to see a diagnostic score, and this is like your practice test. And so they can retake this diagnostic or this practice test as many times as they need to. But I suggest when we talk about it, like they do it once at the beginning and once at the end, kind of like a practice right before they take it. All right, but otherwise this diagnostic is just a practice test. All right, so you're going to see a few things on their focus area. The first thing are these key terms over here in the corner. These are all those vocabulary words that they're going to want and need to know before they go to and attempt this test, okay? It tells you a description of it. It tells you what score they need, and it says that it's going to go along with our science fair project, so they go hand in hand. And then you're going to come over here and you're going to see this is basically like an online textbook. Okay, they have lots of resources that can help them. And this stuff is what we've already covered in class and we've talked about in class, but it just reinforces all of that good information. So you're going to see introductory materials, and this is just intro information. So you're going to see a science inquiry instructions for the UPI team, so that's us, because I know a lot of students just really struggle with science. So I've put together just kind of an instruction page. So if you click on this, the kids will laugh and tell you that it's my colorful page. Okay, what they need to do. All right, they'll want to make sure they watch all the videos so they can understand the material, and then read all the articles that it gives you. It'll give you the key ideas that they need to know for this unit. And it will also tell them what evidence they will need to turn in to me in order to be able to attempt this test. Okay. Now, students really struggle with science because they haven't had a whole lot in elementary school. So I've kind of made it very organized. Like these are the things that are probably going to help them the most and make sure that they can pass this test. So they're labeled evidence 1, 2, 3, and then I've got a substitution piece. Just in case they don't want to do one of these other pieces, they can substitute this piece out. Okay. And then it gives them just kind of instructions. When they're ready for the test, this is a good idea to go through these to make sure they are ready. Okay. So this is their kind of like instruction page. All right. But if we go back to the Summit here. Okay. All right, they're going to have objective 1. And if we click on objective 1, there are going to be lots of resources that help them understand this big idea. Okay, now you're going to see that this student has lots of check marks because the student has used all of their resources on Summit. Just because they have a check mark doesn't mean they've completed it. It just means that they have opened it. So if you see these check marks, that just means that they've opened it. They might have opened it and closed it really fast. But anyway, so you can open and kind of expand that or not. Okay. All right. So let's talk about how they can turn in their evidence. Now, evidence is just proof to the teachers that your student has been studying this material and that they're actually ready for the test. We find that a lot of students, they just want to come down here and request the test, but they really haven't done any of the studying. So this kind of forces them into that. Now, because of the weird world we live in and COVID, the kids are going to be turning in their evidence on Google Classroom because they won't always be in class with me to turn that evidence in because they'll, again, work on this during their SDL or their self-directed learning time. So they all have this class in Google Classroom called 6th grade science with Mrs. Cummins. Okay. And if you click right here, there you can see what we've been working on for throughout the whole year. Most of the stuff on Google Classroom is just like classwork, like bell work, things like we're doing in class. And so if you want to organize this, it's so much easier if you come up to classwork, open it up, and then they're going to see the stuff we're doing in class up here where it says class this week. And this is where we're talking about right now. This is our SDL, evidence for science inquiry. So if we look at here, it has, again, our instructions for the power focus area. All right, and then it gives us evidence 1, evidence 2, and evidence 3. Okay, so this is just the same thing that when we looked at that colorful page. Show it to you again. Evidence 1, the directions are right here. It's going to say, we've taken some of these vocab words in class, add the other words and the key terms that we haven't talked about. You'll find the definitions in the videos and readings. Okay, so it gives you instructions here, but they're actually going to turn it in right here. So when they open this up, okay, the directions are here again, but if they open up the whole document itself, the directions will again be right there for you. All right. So the key vocabulary words are in Summit. So all this stuff, how we get all of the definitions, all that good stuff is going to come from Summit. So there's a spot where it talks about key terms. So if we come back into Summit, our key terms are right here. Okay. These are the vocabulary words that they're going to need. So like what I tell the students is to write them all on a piece of paper and leave a couple spaces in between it so they know what words they're going to have to come and figure out the definitions to. All right, it says find the definitions in the readings and the videos. They won't all be in one place. So this is what kids are really struggling with. All right, they want to come in here and be like, have one thing that gives them all the definitions. But what I tell the kids, I said, you have the piece of paper with all the words on it. Okay, open this document up. It's going to be a reading. Okay, I'll let it load here for a second. Okay. It'll be a reading, and it will have some of those keywords in it. Well, it's not going to load for me while I'm on the Google Meet. But read it, and as they come across those vocabulary words, they can go back to that sheet and they can write that definition down automatically. Okay. I found that students do so much better if they actually handwrite the definitions, because otherwise kids will just copy and paste things from the internet, and it doesn't help them at all. So when they turn in their evidence, they'll need them to be handwritten. Okay, so handwritten definitions. I tell them to put them in their own words. I don't need necessarily the really hard definitions. I need them to tell me what it means. Okay, and then they'll make sure they're neat, and then they're going to take a picture and they're going to turn it in right here. Okay, now all the kids should know how to add a picture into the Google Docs just because we've done it in like all of our classes. But if not, they come up to insert. Okay, image, and then they can come down to camera, and it pulls up a camera tab on their screen, and they can just hold the paper up and make sure I can read it, but then they'll take a picture and it will just insert that picture in there, which is really, really awesome. Okay, so like this is evidence number 1. All right, they'll turn that in, and this is probably the most important because kids really struggle with a lot of the words in science because there are a lot of brand new words. Okay. And then they'll turn it into me. Okay, there'll be a turn in box. And then when it turns in, I can see it right here and I can grade it. Okay, the same thing goes for evidence 2 and evidence 3. They'll have those instructions. Okay, and it'll tell you exactly how to do it. And then they'll turn those in. So when they turn in these first 3 pieces of evidence for me, they can email me and request to take the test during SDL. And then that is if they pass it, okay, it will turn green on Summit. Let me show you here. Like this, okay? If they don't pass it, it will keep it red, or it may be blue, like if that line hasn't passed it yet. But that's how they can complete a focus area. If you have any questions, please let me know. The kids should know how to do this because we've been going over this when we've reviewed it several times. But if you have any questions, please feel free to email me or dojo me, and we can figure this out. All right. Have a great weekend. Bye, guys.